Hello, friends, everybody. We got a special episode for you today. Very treasured. I am Brandon.
I am Luke.
And I said varied.
We are varied.
Oh, we are.
We're
no, I
varied
said.
and treasured.
Did I say varied? I said treasured. I don't know. Run it back. You'll find out.
We're very treasure, and today is going to be the first time that we ever do an episode like this, which is basically
Kind of.
Yeah, we've never watched a movie
Separately.
off screen and then just made a video just about talking about it.
True.
Just
Was
like
dedicated to that. Yeah.
And that's what it is because, as you know, Batman got released on March 4th, which is either today or yesterday, depending on when we release this. And it's only in theaters, and we both saw it. Separately, actually. We saw it separately. So this, right now, is the first time that both of us are in the same room, and we're actually talking about it to each other to find out,
Haven't said a word.
yeah, whether or not we liked it or not.
So,
Should I
who
just
want to go
come out
first?
and
You or
say
me?
it? I don't know.
You go first.
Yeah.
Okay, so hold on. Before you go though. I am a DC stan.
Yeah.
For those who, again, if you're not new to the channel, you've been new.
Huge DC.
So I'm a DC stan. So I feel like that's important as we get into this. That's why I want you to go first as a DC fan, not stan. I think it's important you give your insight.
Yeah, also my standards for movies, I'm not as critical as Brandon.
Yeah, I'm a harsh
But at the
judge.
same time, like, I love all the little nuances that specific movies tend to do. Anyway, I fucking loved it, dude. I'm sorry.
I mean, I could kind of tell.
I was bricked up the entire time, man.
Really?
I was stoked.
That makes me happy. I'm happy to hear that.
I was seeing that a lot of the, what's the word? Critics or
critics.
Yeah, they were saying a lot of the things that it was common for people to say it's kind of like a slow burn. It's kind of like
slow.
It was slow, drawn out. Things were drawn out, and I realized that I saw it. I saw what they were referring to,
But
it didn't bug me. It didn't turn it to a negative thing because I was just in. I wanted every bit of it. I think towards the end. Also, I should say that this is spoilery.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to spoil.
I'll put that in the thumbnail. So
we're going to put in a thumbnail. We're going to put it at the very beginning.
So everyone knows.
Everybody's going to know. But yeah, at the end, I thought there were certain things that were a little cheesy. I feel like that's when the cheeseball stuff started coming.
A little bit, yeah.
But as a whole, my entire, broad stroke is that I really, really enjoyed it.
Okay. So for me, I also really, really enjoyed it.
Sick.
I will say there are going to be some things that I think... Well, there are some things I think was total bullshit.
Really?
Oh, there was a couple things I was like, don't like that. But overall, I really liked it. And the thing I liked the most about it was just this... First of all, I've said this to you before in the past.
Yeah.
But, like, this is our first really true, like, detective Batman.
Yeah.
So that alone, I loved. And then also, I just love, like, the film noir, like, this new kind of, like... They stayed true to Batman while also giving us a new, like, perspective on it. It wasn't just the super angry, beat the shit out of you, and that's it, which there's plenty of that, obviously. But there was more nuance. There was more, psychological distress, more detectiveness, more insight, more romance, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So even though I don't know what your number is, and I don't want to put anything in your mouth, T-Heat, but if you're thinking it's like an 8 or a 9, I would probably be a 7 or an 8.
Yeah.
So I think I liked it a little bit less than you, but I still really, really liked it. And
again, you're a
I'm
harsher
glad.
critic. And when you say, like, they kind of brought other things to the table, showed us different aspects of Batman that they've never showed us before, you're referring to, like, in cinema. In movies.
cinema, yeah.
In movies. Don't get it twisted. Brandon's read plenty of stuff, and I feel like this is kind of what, to speak for you, what you've been kind of waiting for.
Yeah.
A lot of missed opportunities, and I feel like they got the closest with Christopher Nolan's stuff.
Yes and no. So really quick, just to say about that, Christopher Nolan stuff, as much as I love those movies, those were not the most accurate Batman when it comes to like the comics.
I'm just saying the closest they get,
Yeah.
because all the other ones, from my memory, at least the ones that I've seen, have been almost kind of silly.
Right.
So where they're comic booky in the silly sense.
Yeah,
Not booky in the material.
Right.
I guess.
So let me ask you this.
I think I'm gonna ask you the same question.
Go. You go first. Then.
My question was gonna be, because I know that the Christopher Nolan Batmans, like, you hold them to a very high regard.
I do.
And I think you've said that at least one of those three films is possibly your favorite film of all time?
Top 2, top 3, yeah. The Dark Knight.
Yeah, so how does this compare? Does this knock that off its pedestal?
No.
Do you think it should?
No.
No, not at all. Because I know for you it won't, because that holds like a sacred place in your heart.
Right.
But do you think the viewers, the audience, would potentially knock this off?
So I have seen, first of all, Twitter is a cesspool of shit. I hate Twitter. I'm there every day. But I don't get the people who say that it's the best Batman movie ever made.
Okay.
And I also don't get the people that say it's the worst Batman movie ever made, because there's two narratives here going on. There's two like hidden agendas. For me, I can see why some people would say it is the best live action Batman movie ever. I don't agree, but I can see it. However, I don't think it's as well made as the Nolan movies, especially The Dark Knight and Batman Begins. Dark Knight Rises was rough. But anyway, from a movie filmmaking standpoint, I don't think it surpasses those. From a storytelling Batman standpoint, I personally don't think it surpasses those, but I would accept someone saying that.
Okay.
Does that make sense? I don't know if that's clear.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you
clear
think?
enough for me.
What do you think?
I think it competes, dude. I think it really, really competes. Because
I'm not mad hearing that, by the way. Even though I don't agree, I'm not like, no, fucking prove it.
Yeah.
Like, no, actually, that's cool.
I think it definitely competes. And I think what is about this movie that is kind of carrying that, like, on its shoulders, is all of they dug in a little bit more into the emotional, kind of mental aspects of not only Batman, but Bruce and other characters in the universe, I would say, and they did that a little bit in the Nolan trilogy, but it just seemed very surface level. This one dug a little bit more, and I think also it's because it was so early in his Batman career.
Well, so was the Nolan ones, but
and that's true. But it just seems like the next film that we're gonna get is going to stay like right where this one is, where I feel like the very first Batman Begins, like, it started like that, and then after that it was just like goated Batman, technology up the wazoo, like in.
Oh yeah, he went from learning the ropes to master.
Yeah. And then the next movie was just master more, and then third movie just master more. Yeah. But in this one, it's like the entire time. This takes place in his second year as Batman.
Right, and I love watching Batman get fucked, dude. I just love it. I'm sorry.
Really?
Dude, I get up because I want to see the challenge, especially at this stage.
Yeah,
when Batman, when we have 40-year-old Batman and he's been doing this shit for 20 years. No, I don't want to punch. I want like this, just like Neo in the Matrix is what we do. But at this point in the stage, I want Mans to learn. So when he was getting fucking rocked, which
was super dope.
Hyped on that.
At one point, I think, and I think now, since we've given the kind of broad strokes, we can delve into like.
Well, let me ask you one more question before we go there. Okay. Sorry, friends. This is unscripted. We're gonna be wild.
This is literally just what we would do
if this was
today. We just have a camera running, so you're just kind of a fly on the wall. Right now.
So let me ask you this before we get into too much specifics. I guess we'll start the specifics.
Yeah.
Can you name your favorite part? And I don't mean scene, like favorite element. I guess if it is a scene, I'll kick it off. Okay. As much as I loved Batman, and as well as I think Robert Pattinson did, I absolutely loved the take on the Riddler. It was so modern, so relevant, and so scary.
So believable.
Yeah.
So possible.
Yeah, absolutely. In today's world, absolutely. And that's scary, but not only was it like a modern take on the Riddler, he wasn't joking silly, but also for half the movie, he kind of wasn't wrong. I was with it until he started driving the city. Listen, I'm not saying I believe everyone, should kill whoever you want, but like, I get what he was doing. These people
are literally doing wrong.
Yes, exactly.
They're all rats. They're all garbage. They are tarnishing the name, the badge,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That's understandable.
So I was like, I wouldn't be one of the people that would have like joined the cause, but
Sure.
I would have been like, I'm not that mad.
I am pissed off.
I'm not that
about
mad. Yeah.
You know?
But then when he started to drown the city and then start shooting the
Like,
mayor and stuff, I was
whoa,
like, okay, all right, now, all right, go get him, Batman.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think that maybe stole the show for me. I thought, and then Paul Dano, he really channeled his like Jeffrey Dahmer for that role, and he did a good job.
And that's the actor that plays the Riddler.
Yeah.
Correct? Okay. I would say I agree with you. I feel like if you had to put, Pattinson or that
Paul Dano.
Dana, who carried the movie more on their shoulders, it's almost kind of like him. Because he needs to be believable as Riddler.
Right.
Pattinson already has everything laid out. All the groundwork is laid out for him. He's pretty much, a similar type of Batman as we've seen before, just younger and a little bit more emotional. But the Riddler, this is kind of the first time that we've seen a Riddler like this.
That is like coherent and like has a true objective. Like a lot of Riddlers in the past, they've had objectives, but they're usually
almost like a pawn in the grander scheme of things. And it seemed like this one was running the show, and he was kind of like, I just feel like he had more work to do than Pattinson did, and that's arguable because everybody was hating on the fact that Pattinson should be Batman. Everybody was saying he shouldn't be Batman and this and that. But, Batman is Batman, and Batman's going to be played a certain way because it's Batman.
That's Batman. That's the
Riddler,
character.
it's just like, this is a whole new kind of look, and it was accomplished. He did it. But I would say, I think the coolest thing for me is simply the fact that I loved the fact that we were watching Batman in year 2. Like, he's fresh, and because that brings on the whole, he's getting rocked. He's getting slapped around.
He's figuring it out.
He's figuring it out. He's learning. He's not going to win every battle. And people don't take him seriously. I love the trash talk that he was getting at the beginning of everyone. Like, what's this dude doing here? This and that, blah, blah, blah. And Gordon's like...
Well, it's also cool. It's also cool to add to this thing to what you're saying. It's also really cool that I liked a lot, and the more I've been sitting on it, that's what she said. After, the more I like it more. But it's really cool that he's just becoming really popular in that world, but he's still chill enough that he can walk up to doors and be like, you know who I am?
Yeah.
Like that scene. I was like, that's crazy.
I would say, as far as aspects of the movie, what is my favorite aspect of the movie? It would be the fact that this was a look into early Batman, young Batman, year 2 Batman, not crazy gadgets, not crazy unbelievable gadgets, he's still learning and stuff like that. There was a part where, now we can start getting, I think, into the specific stuff.
Sure.
Where he stepped out and was shocked and kind of a little scared about how high he was.
Oh yeah,
At one
before
point
he did
was
that.
kind of and I think it was that point, and I'm like, that's cool. That's really cool because he's not, the gargoyle that we see all the time.
Yeah, he's just jumping off buildings.
Chilling, No, there's another time where he got rocked pretty hard sometimes.
There's a couple of times he got rocked that I loved.
Especially at the end. And
really quick, I'm sorry, I know what this is, but when he shot himself with that adrenaline, I was fucking busting everywhere. I loved that.
Yep.
Oh, so
we'll come back to that.
Sorry,
we'll come back to that. What was your favorite sequence? Do you have a scene sequence favorite?
No, and I need to watch it again.
Sure.
Because for me, it's more conceptual. Okay, so nothing I loved about this movie that we got more than any other movie. I loved him and Gordon as a duo.
Yeah.
I loved that camaraderie, that homie-ship.
Yeah.
But it's also not cemented enough where they're complete ride or die. But we're right there on the cusp. So I really like that because when he's I only trust you. I was like, that's a little, but I loved it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But there were moments where it was just you don't trust me, huh? Yeah. And it was well, I don't trust you either.
Yeah.
We don't trust each other.
But see, that's the thing is but they do trust each other. They're just trying to be hard.
And then he even said I don't even know who you are, man.
Yeah.
How
you want me to trust you? I don't even know who you are.
I don't know who you are. And that's when they were in the garage and they found the
But they kept going. And then I love the fight scene in the jail. Sorry, just in the jail and
Which
when he punched Gordon, remember when he was unconscious, cops had him, he started whatever. He's like, let me talk to him.
Oh, that was sick. And
you're gonna punch me?
You got to get out of here, man.
Yeah.
He's like, there's keys right here. You got to punch me. And then later he's like,
you didn't
wish you would have pulled your punch.
I did.
So that was cool. I was like, my boner was set to 11 was the car scene, the car chase.
That's funny you say that because that was one of my actually least fun moments.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit. No,
I was like, boring.
What are you fucking talking? You're so
all right.
full of shit.
Here's where we go into Brandon's gripes. So maybe you can answer me this.
Yeah.
When he's talking to Selena and they start getting blasted from the homies, he gets hit, he falls.
Yeah.
And the whole scene is playing out. You just see him in the corner still laying there.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the car turned on. I was like, we never saw him move, which I get. That's Batman, but he was like out cold. And then now the car turns on. He wasn't out cold. I don't.
He got knocked back because he got lit up.
But they showed him on the ground. He's like this. And then every time you'd see like her, you would see him like off to the side or whatever. You'd always see him laying there. And then all of a sudden now the car's on. So I thought, okay, remote start. And then it was weird to me that the car started and it was like crescendoing I was like, okay, I'm getting a little wet right now. Wow. And then it goes, woo.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Is he in there?
No. Why did it just like barely revved and then stopped? I thought it was going to go and take off, but it didn't.
Nobody had left yet.
I know. So, like, I guess, was he trying to get them to leave? But, like,
I think he was baiting them.
But why bait them? Just fucking get them right there.
Because he needs to talk to Penguin. At that moment, he needed to talk to Penguin, and he knew that they had to get out of there. Their only chance to, like, get away was to leave. So he's just like, I'm ready. So here's the thing. I think, like,
I don't love it, but I'll buy it.
During that moment, I feel like that was the fast food. That was the McDonald's. You know, the real flashy, it not much substance to it, but it's going to be yummy as shit. Yeah. So at that point, I was just in. When he started that car, oh man, I was sliding around in my chair, dog. I was all wet in head. I was ready to go. And then when he did I was like, yeah, let's go. And then the chase was just so. It was just so cool.
Boring. I don't know.
No, it was not boring. It was just really, really,
Listen,
really cool.
as a Fast and Furious fan.
Oh my God.
You're not going to top those car chases. No, but I will say this. The car chase, I don't know. That was the one part of the movie where I was like, okay, I'm ready I want to get to the end of this puzzle. But the one thing for me that I was like, is when just so happened the ship blows up and then the ramp falls down and then he's able to go up that ramp. I was more interested. I know. See, this is where
McDonald's, bro.
I want to see, man. I want to see him get through the struggle, like him be slick and dodge and something. I don't know.
Things were falling and he was just getting bam. Even like a big old cement tube came rolling down and he had to barrel through it.
I know, which was also a little cap, but that's all right.
Whatever.
When he went through that and it didn't even like do anything with the vehicle, I was like, okay, buddy, listen.
Bro, give me that double quarter pounder with cheese. I want it all. No. At that moment, they could do whatever, and I was super in. Let me see.
As you collect, I'm disappointed. This is going to be a really big catch-22. I'm really disappointed at how little the Penguin was actually involved in it, but I actually really like that he wasn't very involved in it because we're going to get more of him. I don't know if you know this. There's supposed to be a Penguin series on HBO after this.
I didn't know this.
Oh, there you go.
Did not know this.
Yep, you got that to look forward to. And then I think that series will lead to the next Batman where Penguin will be a bigger deal. So, like, as much as I wanted more Penguin, I'm glad they're keeping him on deck. We'll save him for later. So I like that a lot.
I liked that the Riddler was like, okay, he's the bad guy. But this is where I feel like people can argue and say, like, they could have done this entire movie in, like, much less time.
Absolutely. There was a lot of fat in there.
And the Riddler was kind of taking on this wild goose chase of, like, he's the bad guy. No, he's the big bad guy. No, he's the big bad guy. When, in reality, the Riddler was supposed to be the bad guy, but he was going through Penguin, and he was going through this, and then the cops, and then all this stuff.
And then Bruce Wayne.
And I liked that it wasn't like, you know how when there's a movie, there's too many bad guys. Spider-Man did this a while ago, not the recent Spider-Man
Not No Way
films,
Home, but...
But they've
The Andrew Garfield
they
one?
jammed too many bad guys in one movie, you know?
Oh, Spider-Man 3 where there was Sandman.
Yeah,
and,
something like that.
Goblin.
But this didn't feel that same way, and I thought that they balanced it pretty well. But it resulted in an extremely long movie because they did go through a lot of stuff.
See, I don't disagree with that, but I feel like the movie was just slow paced in general. Like the opening scene took forever for the Riddler to get the mayor, and then when we're in that scene with Batman and them in the room, like it just felt like that's where I would have been hacking and slashing.
Yeah, so that's another thing too, and that's what I was going to bring up. I think this is why it feels so slow. It feels like a slow burn. There's a lot of information in it, but that's not really what it is. I think it's like you could have gotten that scene taken care of with like
half the time,
half the shots.
Yeah,
They got it from over here. They're drawing out this tension, which really wasn't tension.
We're seeing Batman's
exactly.
out of focus boot, waiting 40 seconds for
And there were just a lot of extra shots in every single scene.
Pretty much.
That made every scene feel longer, and then in turn the whole movie felt a little longer. And they could have done it without some shots. But that didn't bug me at all. I was aware of it, but it didn't bug me.
Yeah, I could have done without it, but it didn't ruin it for me.
Yeah, I think that's why it felt and why it actually was so long. But I was in. I wanted to see the emotional side, I wanted to see the mental side, and I feel like those extra shots were just kind of expounding on those things.
What did you think of Catwoman?
I think that she. Let me think back.
While you do that, I liked her a lot. My only gripe isn't with her. My only gripe with I loved their chemistry. I loved that we got that romance. The weird part to me was how her lady girl dead, and then it was like that same night she kissed Batman for the first time, and I was like, okay, we can slow that down a little bit. We don't need to rush this.
I do feel that too. Like
I would have saved that kiss for the kiss they did at the very end.
It would have made that one at the very end more meaningful. Yeah. It did feel and I think you articulated in a way that I haven't been able to figure out, is that's why it felt kind of rushed and kind of forced, the Batman and Catwoman romance chemistry. But I think.
Did you like her
that
performance?
She's the best Catwoman that we've had.
Oh wow! Yeah. I didn't see you go in that direction.
But that's why I'm saying I had to, because I enjoyed her so much as Catwoman. I had to look back at the Catwomans that I can remember.
Yeah.
And if you look at the roster, I think. Do you disagree that she's the best?
No.
The best one?
No. Arguably, I would say, I forget her name right now, but the old 66 Batman Catwoman, she's very iconic. And it's a different era, so that's really like comparing Apple to gasoline, two different things. But other than that, Halle Berry was cool. Anne Hathaway was cool. So I think you're right.
I think she's the best Catwoman. I think she was given the best material. I think she looks best the part. But I think just all around, I think she's the best Catwoman we've had. Mm-hmm. To me, she's the most believable Catwoman.
I also
the most one to take seriously.
Right, and I like that she was utilizing different what do you call it, outfits and things to
And she's good at what she does. She's not just the sex icon. She's not just this. Something to look at. Yeah. She went in there.
She is, but she's also a badass.
Yeah, she went in there and cracked that safe in 30 seconds.
You're good at
that. She got through the defenses when she went and met her father.
Yeah.
She beat everybody's ass easily.
Dude,
she
I
went
loved
toe-to-toe with Batman.
Yeah, I loved though in that scene when the cop came in and Batman shh, and he had her like this.
Oh yeah.
Shit like that to me, those are the little nuances that just get me bricked, and it's so stupid because it's not a big deal, but imagine you're fighting someone, but then you have to be allies for a moment.
Yep.
And then not only you have to be allies, but that's intimate as shit, boy. Yep. You know what I mean?
Yep. And then when they're clear, she's
yeah.
She got all
I just that stuff
perfect.
to me.
It was perfect. So that's what I'm saying. Those are the reasons, and there's countless examples of that throughout the entire film that I like so much. For example, when he if you're watching this, you know it's gonna be spoilers. So
we've spoiled the whole thing.
Yeah. So when he has the Riddler in the prison, right? He is not saying a fucking word.
He's just watching.
And he's just letting.
Well, also because
he
so
thinks,
you fucking got me going. He thinks he's calling him Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
But he was.
He wasn't.
In my opinion, he was.
He did not.
That was his way of saying, I fucking know who you are, dog. But don't worry, because we got bigger fish to fry.
I don't think so.
I think so.
Okay, we are
off the ground.
Polarizing.
But regardless, I still love Batman's response because he was like,
he didn't say anything. He was waiting.
Yeah, he was
but he said one line that changes that whole thing. He says, Bruce Wayne, he's the only one we didn't get.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's when, and they, like, Pattinson, like...
He's relieved. Yeah.
His, just very subtle, like, his face kind of just, okay.
Okay, so let me give you...
So that, to me, tells me that the Riddler doesn't know that he's...
Okay.
He's Batman. That he's Bruce Wayne.
I still disagree, but I also have a bias, and I'll tell you why. You're never going to read it, because you're not a reader. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. There is okay, if you don't want to be spoiled on what I'm about to say, there is a comic storyline in Batman called the Hush storyline. If you don't want to be spoiled and you really want to read that, turn this off right now. But there's a story arc called Hush, and big spoiler alert, there's this villain. This guy comes back to town who is like Batman's old... I don't want to get too far into it. Essentially, it's this dude who knows Batman is Bruce Wayne and vice versa, and he's toying with him the whole time, and you learn at the very end it was actually the Riddler. And so there was a reference to that in the movie.
There was.
Do you remember the Hush?
It said Hush.
Yep.
Yeah. Exactly. And when they first showed how the Riddler was going to look, all that time ago, I was getting major Hush vibes, and I told you that.
Oh.
I said the way they made this character look, because I think at that point they didn't say it was the Riddler. They're just like, this is... stills from the new Batman movie, and I thought they were going to do the Hush story because he looked very Hush to me.
Yeah. And then they did that thing.
But I didn't know that in that thing, the Hush guy is actually the Riddler. So that's why you feel like he does know who he is.
And then I just feel like Riddler, for him to go, like taunt him so much, that felt over the top. And again, in the comics, in the storylines where Riddler does know that Batman is Bruce Wayne, he never like shares it because, like at the heart of Riddler, what keeps him coming back, and this is another thing that I like about this Riddler, is he just needs that intellectual stimulation, and no one gives it to him except for Batman. So that's why he's like, ooh, I could play with you forever. Yeah. And in this one, there's a hint of that, but it's also, but I have a narrative here. I'm trying to show the world how fucked we are. So anyway, so that's why I feel like in that same moment, it's like, I don't want to reveal who you are because I like you too much. But you're right, he did say, we didn't get him yet.
He's the only one we didn't get. And then that's when he finally started talking. He's like, what do you mean we?
But I think that's why, though, also that's why the Riddler is, because again, I interpret that whole scene as, I know you're Bruce Wayne, but like, I also remember up to this point, it was like, we. So he was like, I got your back. We never caught him. That's kind of how I view it.
So for me, I was seeing it more like,
that was your confirmation.
Just said, he doesn't know who I am. And then from that moment on, I saw the whole thing as kind of just like two sides of the same coin. Like, they are very similar. And even
they're trying to clean the city.
So like the Riddler, so their motives are the same, they're just doing it differently.
Different
and then the Riddler said he was saying stuff like we're the same team, this and that, blah blah. And then he said, you're not as smart as I thought you were.
Oh, I love that.
And then he said everything was every piece of the puzzle is all right in front of you.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, I was like, okay, well, Batman can literally say the same thing about you. He thought you were smart enough to figure out that he was Batman, but you just said that something to make me think that he's not. And then on his wall of Batman and Bruce and everything, Batman could literally say, like, all the pieces are right in front of you, but you're not as smart as I thought you were. Right. You see? So that's why I was just like, he's saying this out loud about Batman, but he can literally say the same thing about him because he thought he knew he was Bruce. Because he has and he's staring at the Renew project. Batman, Tom Wayne, or Bruce, Tom Wayne, this and that, blah, blah, blah. It's all right there, but he just didn't put that one thing.
See, and that's also why I was like, no, he did. There's no fucking way. Batman's his little mouse he wants to play with, and he's not going to give up the mouse. Because if he snitches, it's over.
Yeah,
there's no more cat and mouse. The mouse is gone.
Let's bring this home because I feel like this video is going to start getting crazy long. We're probably going to continue talking about it, and I'm sure we're going to see it again, and it might even change some of the things that we're saying right now in this video. So, if you saw something in the movie that would change how we feel about it, forgive us. We saw it once. Yeah. We haven't, studied it, but we're probably going to see it again, and with different eyes. But the character at the end. In the cell next to him.
So, how did you feel about that?
I didn't expect that.
Okay.
I didn't expect that, and when it first happened, when it was first talking, I thought he was Two-Face.
That's what I thought too. Because
I thought it was Two-Face. Yep, and then
but then with
the fact that they just kept laughing and laughing and laughing, I'm like, okay, I think they're trying to tell us
a little too
that
much.
He's the Joker.
Yeah. And the laughing I did not love.
You didn't. If it was the Joker. You don't like that laugh being
No. I don't mind the sound of his laugh. I didn't like they laughed too much for too long. It was weird. Like I love what he was doing. I love how he was like baiting the Riddler. Like, no, buddy, you did good, man. Like you did good, But then like they started laughing and I'm like, well, what are you laughing at? And then they kept laughing, like getting more hysterical. I was like, okay, I get it. It's the Joker. Chill out.
Well, the Joker laughs. Like he finds anything hysterical.
Riddler was laughing with him. Though.
Yeah, sure. Riddler was laughing also, but he's a fucking nut job, and maybe he's extremely relieved, that
he got a homie.
He's got a homie right next to him, and he probably has zero friends because he keeps saying like, "I'm invisible. I'm nobody." This and that, and he was super stoked and rotted up by the followers that he was getting.
Yeah.
So. Now he's got a homie who believes everything he's saying right next to him, and he's stuck. So I wasn't put off by it.
I wasn't put off, but I was like, we could be a little more subtle next time.
Yeah. But I think also that has to solidify, especially what you said, that there is going to be follow-up movies with this whole thing. It's not going to be like what Joker was. Joker with Joaquin Phoenix, where that's one and done. And I was thinking and expecting that this was going to also be one and done in its own little thing. Mm-hmm. But now it seems like they're definitely not going to do that.
Well, I don't know if you know, but there is a sequel to Joker coming.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And people are not stoked. Yeah, that's because they're like, you did. It was great. You won. It. Yeah.
Just
done.
Tighten the bow, put it on the shelf.
And be proud.
That's a big ass done.
We did that.
We ain't gonna tarnish it either.
Nope, but they're going to.
Oh man, that sucks.
I know. I hope they do a good job, but everyone's like, So anyway, back on the horse though. There's definitely more to come, and I'm looking forward to it. And I liked it more than I don't know. I've told you my excitement for it was pretty lukewarm, pun intended, for so long because of just multiple reasons. And then the last week, I was actually getting kind of excited.
Really?
And then last night before I left, I was like hyped.
Really?
Because it's my man, so I'm like, bro, let's go. Sure. So anyway, I ended up liking it a lot more than I thought I would, and I'm glad you liked it because honestly, I thought you weren't going to like it a whole lot.
Really?
I didn't think you weren't going to like it. I know it's a well-made movie, so Luke's going to enjoy it, but I didn't think you'd be super into it because. It's just, like I said, it's not quite what we're used to seeing with Batman. And so I thought, you would be like...
No, I love detective shit, dude. I love crime scene, investigation. I love
how... Sorry, this is taking way too long. I also love how awkward Batman was.
Sure.
Because he'd be like, he lies still. Lie still. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? He's learning.
Orphan.
No,
he's an orphan. He stays in his home all the time. They kept saying this is the only guy that's a bigger recluse than me.
Yeah.
So of course, I like that. I also like you. I like that they showed that because he doesn't have people skills.
No, yeah.
The Bruce Wayne that we always see is super suave, Ben
Affleck or Christian
Bale. That's the Batman we see.
Right. And we'll get there. I hope. I would love to see that get there,
but in this one, super emo, antisocial. I'm focused on this one thing.
He hasn't learned.
I don't care for people,
right? And he hasn't learned how to that's just a form of manipulation. Batman never wants to be the suave guy. He does that because that's how he maintains his persona, and that's what nothing in this. It was very subtle, but they made that a thing in here.
Yeah.
He was so much I don't care. I don't care what happens to me. I don't care about this. I don't care about that. And then Alfred a few times had said a few things where it's like, I mean, you kind of should.
Yeah.
You got to keep up appearances. And
Yeah,
so
'cause you're
I
a
think
Wayne.
exactly. And then I think hopefully in the next movie he'll start to go like, okay, I got to be the playboy to keep people off my tail. So.
Yeah. No, I feel like nothing of his performance was, or the writing was glaringly out of character, out of the character that they were creating, except for maybe the forced romance with the seemingly kind of forced romance with Selena Kyle. But I feel like if they didn't have that kiss in the middle, the one at the end would have made more sense and would have been more welcome.
Yeah.
But I feel like they made the romance. It felt like they made the romance happen because it's Catwoman and Batman.
Yeah, and let's get there. Yeah, I agree.
That was the only thing that might seem a little bit out of character.
I think
they went for it.
Right, and I think what I think that I liked about it, even though it was a little forced, was at least we got to see like little incel Batman, like
little what?
Incel, whatever you call it.
I don't know.
Where,
I don't know that word.
Little virgin boy who doesn't know what to do.
Oh,
so like
I see.
He wants it, but he's like,
yeah,
I'm Batman.
Yeah,
but also like, no, keep going.
Never kissed a girl before.
Yeah, exactly. So like, it was nice to see him be again awkward. He was like, oh shit, what do I do here? I don't know. I want to see the evolution of Batman, and I don't think we've ever. Here we go. I'm just gonna put it out there. We've never seen the evolution in live action. The Nolan trilogy is as close as we got. Like you said, even in the beginning, he was pretty competent, but then 2 and 3, he was as good as it could be. Ben Affleck, we're at the end of the transition, but we didn't see him get there.
Yeah.
So I hope this will go, and we can see the stages. Hopefully it goes. So let's close this down because we've been talking way too long. It's gonna be like a 45-minute video. But in closing, who's your Batman?
Who's my fave Batman?
Yeah, who's your Batman?
Oh boy. I feel like it's hard because I just fresh off this one.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have it very high.
The dust needs to settle more. I get it, but as of now,
I'd have to say, fuck, I can't do that, bro. I can't do it.
You can, I believe.
I'm gonna say
Val Kilmer, huh? For sure.
George Clooney.
George Clooney?
No, I'd probably say, apart from Kevin Conroy,
not animated.
I'd probably go. I'm most stoked on this one.
On Battinson?
On Battinson. I'm most stoked on Battinson because I'm just excited. And I'm very happy right now. I'm just happy to be here, man. I feel like a lot of that carried Christian Bale was performances that weren't his performance.
See,
the performance of Christopher Nolan, performance of Heath Ledger,
and
obviously.
don't ever forget Aaron Eckhart, Two-Face. He's completely underrated because of Heath Ledger, but he did good too. Yeah.
But there's a lot that goes into why
his movies were so good.
Bale was, all three of those were so good.
And I think really quick, not to go on too much of a tangent.
Yeah. We're going to hit this at the end, I forgot.
Okay, just really quick. Poor Bale, people, as much as we all hated the voice, that is in my opinion, unjustly, criticized. I think he did a phenomenal performance, but people don't think it was that good just because of the voice.
The voice seems over
the top.
Silly.
Which again, the voice, no matter how annoying it was to you, was very logical. He has to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know why they didn't do it like the Ben Affleck Batman and make it an actual effect. But regardless, he still killed it too. But yes, I do agree. Anyway.
So what's your answer to your question?
My answer to my question is, if we're going off, oh fuck, I'm just gonna say it. And I'll explain it in a minute. Ben Affleck is my Batman through and through. He has, in my opinion,
still your...
The Snyderverse gonna come for me right now like a motherfucker. But he has the worst writing of any Batman. If you have given. It wouldn't work because Ben Affleck's too old now. But if there was a phenomenal script written as true to Batman as possible, and Ben Affleck portrayed that script as the Batman he is, that is it.
That's the dream.
That's the dream.
That's the wet dream.
We've never gotten that though.
Yeah.
Snyder Cut was as close as we got, and I really liked it. But that's not a Batman movie, so we never got to see Batman be Batman. We got snippets here and there.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, it's tough to say Ben Affleck because again, I don't have a whole lot to base it on.
Sure.
But if it's between, if I take that away, if it's between Nolan's Batman, so Christian Bale and Robert Pattinson.
I also wish that Pattinson was a little bit more
manly. I agree. I agree. My only real gripe with Pattinson was actually his voice. Not only he's a little tiny, but like it's not very scary when they're talking like this. What'd you do with him? No, I'm I can't sound like a little bitch like him. So it's hard. But I just want my Batman to be terrifying in every way, physically, visually, audibly.
He'll get there.
He'll get there, I guess. Once he has puberty and his voice drops. I don't know. I
You made me answer.
I would go. That's tough, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I almost want to say it's a draw because, like, and this is what I hate about in today's world. Sorry, this is long and drawn out, but what I hate about today's world is if whatever I want to choose, everyone's gonna interpret it like I'm shitting on the other one.
Yeah.
So, like, my instinct, y'all are brutal. Well, fuck, blah, blah, blah. Even though I can say they're both amazing, but I have to go with one. It's this one. They're still gonna like argue against me, like I'm saying this one's trash. That being said, I think I'm gonna go Bale. Not because he's the most accurate Batman, but because I think he did the best job if you take away the voice. I don't like the voices neither. So, if I'm taking the voices away, but Pattinson's like right here. One more movie could easily do this.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think that's true because this is one movie.
This is one movie. I got three here, one here.
You got three, and Heath Ledger, and Christopher Nolan, and
Aaron Eckhart, and all. Yeah.
Oh man. Regardless, whatever. We thought it was a great movie. It was fucking rad.
I very much look forward to watching it again.
Yeah, and I will watch it again.
Yeah.
At least one or two more.
I read it should be coming to HBO Max on April 19th. Yeah, so.
Yeah. We very treasure stamp
approval.
We loved it.
Batman.
It was very good. And we're very curious to know what you all think. So please let's talk about it. We can literally talk about it in the comics. And let's fight about it. Brandon loves to fight.
I'm ready to fight.
So let's do it. So let's talk about all the things that we glossed over. Let's talk about the things that we took way too long to discuss.
Things we forgot to discuss.
Yeah, let's talk about it in the comments because this is the type of stuff that we
this is why we're here.
Really enjoy doing. So thank you very, very much for watching. I know it was a long video. I guess that's it. I mean,
that's it.
Let's
look forward to the next one.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Peace. You mentioned the adrenaline. I think that's a little hint that we're going to get Bane.
I thought so too. Because he went Hulk mode.
Yep, and it was green, and they were like...
Yeah. And then he was like...
I thought when he went like this, I was like, no, he's carrying a gun.
Oh, really?
For like, oh shit mode. Like, oh, this is last case scenario. Yeah. But then when he brought the thing out, and it like looked green, and they put it, and there's like, zing! It's green a little too. Yeah. And he went psst, or psst, wherever. I don't know where he hit it. Probably in his leg.
This is like a little thing he didn't.
And I was like, that's the juice, man.
Oh, really? That's funny.
I was like, that's the juice. And then he was like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like that whole thing. When he hulked out, I was like,
give it to me. See, for me, what's funny is like, I knew right away. When he was like laying there and like, and he like started to fuck with this thing, I was like, oh, please shoot yourself with something, bro. Like, I want you to...
Really?
Yeah, I knew. And when he pulled out, I was like, no. And then when I saw it was green, I was like, oh, I bet you, like, they're setting it up.
They're setting it up. So that's
But just for me, even Bane aside, the idea that, like... I think the reason why I like seeing Batman get wrecked is also because I like seeing Batman, what he's willing to do to get it done.
How he overcomes.
I think most people right there would have been like, take me, I'm good.
He was done, bro.
Bro, he had at least 4 broken ribs from that shotgun blast.
For sure. He got hit with the 12 gauge.
Point.
You know, and then this is, the ending is way too long, but he's hanging there. You know,
he's like,
homeboy's got the gun right to his face, and he's just standing there. He's done. Yeah. Like that's the. This is how I go because there's literally nothing else I could do.
Right.
I mean, arguably he could have
done it right there.
You know, but there's no.
Well, I think he probably didn't rush that because the guy was taking way too long to kill him, like they usually do. So he probably didn't want to like tip him off. But anyway.
Yeah. So we might get Bane very soon.
Hopefully.
That's what I think. I want some of that juice.